everyone, welcome back to AMTV News. I'm your anchor, Topher Morrison. It is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2013. And in geopolitical news, it's often a good thing to ask a pertinent question. In this case, what would George Washington have done with Syria? In a Fox News opinion piece, Logan Birney, author of Blood of Tyrants, George Washington and the Forging of the Presidency, asked this question. The answer? Washington would steer clear of Syria, he said. Our first commander-in-chief gave his reasoning in his farewell address. Quote, why by interweaving our destiny with that of any other nation, entangle our peace and prosperity in the toils of ambition, rivalship, interest, humor, or caprice? This is my reason.
A new video surfacing from Syria that claims to show rebel atrocities, one you may find disturbing to watch, purporting to show Islamist rebels carrying out a public execution in the northern city of Raqqa. You can see 3 men there, said to be captured by government soldiers, sitting on a curb, surrounded by armed masked men. One of the masked men reads from a paper, and then the soldiers are shot dead. We're not going to show you this video in its entirety. It is disturbing. That video emerging just days after another just absolutely horrifying clip was posted online. This is a still image taken from that video. The full version cannot be shown on television. A rebel leader appears to carve open a regime soldier's body, remove one of his organs, and take a bite of it. Aaron Baker, thanks for being with us. So Time Magazine and you were able to speak with that rebel leader and essentially authenticate this video. What did he tell you?
Yes, he confirmed that it was him in the video, and he told us that he had no regrets and that he would probably do it again.
So what, I mean, this, of course, nobody is saying that the regime, for its part, is responsible, according to rebels, for some terrible massacres and aerial bombardments and human rights abuses. But this does a lot of damage. This does a lot of damage to the rebel cause.
Absolutely. It shows that they're not purely angels, that when we talk about arming or assisting the rebels, we have to be very careful to know where exactly such assistance is going. And you just don't know on the ground what is really happening there.
And in our small state news, Scotland offered savings over independence. Great Britain's state-run media, the BBC, okay, state-sponsored media. Anyway, the BBC reports that by being a subject within the United Kingdom, member within the UK, comes with a boatload of savings and safety nets. Gotta have those. Forget about pro-growth, low-tax, low-drag economies. Listen here.
Banking and financial services are big business in Scotland's capital city. These industries would be a big asset to an independent Scotland, but the UK government says the major Scottish banks are so big they could also pose a threat to the Scottish economy in the event of future financial shocks.
The Treasury says an independent Scotland would have to have separate plans for the regulation and rescue of its banks and other financial institutions, and that could add additional cost to the everyday financial products we take for granted.
So in other words, big Scottish banks, once they fail, because as we all know they will eventually, will need to be bailed out. The UK, unlike Scotland, has a bigger piggy bank and can help. After all, to say nothing of maybe letting these banks fail the next time. That is, after all, like much of the developed world, not the UK's policy. Bailouts are.
In Glasgow, meeting new banking apprentices, the Deputy First Minister said that an independent Scotland could continue to share risks and market opportunities with the rest of the UK.
What we're getting from the UK Treasury is an attempt to frighten people. Now, I know they've got a political job to do this side of the referendum, but people will look at what they're saying and come to the conclusion that if they were to follow through on that, they'd be acting against their own interests, and that's what makes it incredible rather than credible.
So is the UK ruling out cross-border arrangements?
Nothing's been ruled out or in.
Ministers from both governments will only actually negotiate the terms of independence if there's a yes vote. But that doesn't necessarily make it easier for voters to make up their minds in advance of the referendum.
Now, the Scottish independence referendum on the horizon could end the over 300-year union. and with it shed the red tape and bureaucracy emanating from London. While clouds will always hover over this northern part of the British Isle, perhaps the big cloud of big government will have a chance to give way to a smaller, more responsive republic. It's worth a shot. And for today's I'd Love to Be a Public Barnacle Award, we pick Anthony Weiner, running for New York mayor.
Look, I made some big mistakes, and I know I let a lot of people down. But I've also learned some tough lessons. I'm running for mayor because I've been fighting for the middle class and those struggling to make it my entire life. And I hope I get a second chance to work for you.
Capturing every corner of the alternative media, watch AMTV News Monday through Friday. Follow me on Twitter at AMTV News and like us on Facebook at Greenwave TV. Find my source material and more videos like these at AMTV Media and greenwave.com. Both are part of the AMTV network. This is AMTV News, the voice of independence.